Welcome to HB Tuners for Gen 2 Coyote Training Part 41. In this training module, we're going to be exploring how to create a naturally aspirated base map for our engine control modules so that when we fire up our engine, we're going to have appropriate values and all the tables and all the scalar values so that the engine's going to run properly and give us a good starting point to begin our calibration process. Without further wait, let's jump in so we can check this out.
Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look at how to create a naturally aspirated base map for an S550 Gen 2 Coyote application. So this is going to be accounting for the basic bolt-on modifications that you might have done. So typical things like intake, header, exhaust, high flow cats, maybe a set of injectors. You need to make sure you're accounting for all this so that when you start your calibration process, everything is going to be in order. So we're going to make sure that we're just going through using the template applicator files that are provided in the training course folder, making sure we're importing all of the correct information, then in hand fitting or hand changing any other small details that need to be updated in our calibration files. We're actually going to walk through each tab here in this tutorial, just making sure I've covered everything you'll need to know in order to have a successful first go around at calibrating a naturally aspirated Mustang or an F-150 application. So let's jump in here and let's take a look at what we're going to be starting off with here in our template applicator files. First, we actually need to go and open up a calibration file that's associated to the vehicle that I'm working with. So I have a 2015 Mustang GT manual transmission. Let's go ahead and open that up here. So go to here, File, Open, and then we'll jump in here to our course folder, HB Tuners Gen 2 Coyote. And we're going to jump into our Mustang example files, 2015 Mustang, and then I'll grab my Mustang GT option here. This is going to be a manual transmission. We also have an automatic transmission example here, but I'm going to grab the manual transmission. Let's click open here and let the file open up. Now, the first thing we're going to do before jumping through any of the tabs and starting to discuss other hand fitting changes we need to make, we need to go in and start to use the template applicator feature in order to bring in all of the bulk data to account for just changes and updates we need to make once we've done bolt-on modifications to our vehicle. So let's go in here and take a look at starting off with that process. We're going to go up here to Edit, and we're going to go into Template Applicator. Now in here, we're going to go to File, Open, Open Tune Template, and we're going to jump here into our course folder, HB Tuners Gen 2 Coyote, and then we're going to jump into our Template Applicator subfolder. And here we have all these subfolders that are going to be labeled very clearly of what they represent. We need to go and start to open up the ones that are going to be most relevant for our application, so we bring all of the data in. Now, I'm not going to go through all the individual changes in these files that I've created here, but when we're going through the tabs in our calibration here, looking at all the different values or different parameters and all the different sections of the tabs, it'll show us in red what has been changed. And I will talk about those changes as we're going through just to understand why we're making those updates and changes, and then any other changes we need to make that weren't built into the template applicator file. So bringing in that bulk data, there's going to be things that aren't in there and we might want to go and hand fit and hand change some things. So we're going to go through all of this. The first thing we're going to do is, we can see the first folder here, auto transmission, that doesn't apply to us. We're going to skip that. We're going to go to our base file prep. And here we have to choose whether we have an auto or manual transmission vehicle. In this case, I have a manual trans. And then in here, we have to choose what rev limiter we want to have for our engine. Now, in my case, I have a JLT 110 millimeter intake installed. I have a stock throttle body, stock intake manifold. In this situation, we're really not going to make peak power much past 68, 6900. So we need to go and choose a rev limiter that makes sense. So we don't want to rev our engine really, really high for no reason. In this case, I'm going to go here and use a 7400 RPM rev limiter. Now, if you've installed a GT350 intake manifold or maybe a Gen 3 intake manifold, those have the potential to make power at a higher RPM and actually carry your power out better. So in that case, you might want to go in and bump it up to 76 or 7800 RPM for your rev limiter. In this case, I'm going to choose 74 because of my intake manifold restriction, meaning it's not going to make power past a certain point. I'll click open here and that's going to bring all the changes in. So I'm not going to go through the individual changes here. We'll talk about that as we're going through the calibration file. I'm going to jump here into apply changes and we're going to use the apply feature. Now, in this case, it's showing me there was some errors detected here. There's these two switches here. They're not going to be imported in. That's okay. We can see that there are a lot of other parameters or tables that have been imported in here. We can see what's showing success. So we're going to go keep moving on here. So we're going to close this window out and we're going to jump back into Edit and we're going to go in here to our template applicator again. Go to File, Open, Open Tune Template. In this case, we're going to move out of our manual transmission folder using the up arrow, and then we're going to go back into our main directory. Now here's where we need to decide if we need to go and update.
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.